Aloha champions, welcome back. It's our third science video of the first quarter, our second Tuesday. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to listen as Mr. Chambers reads through Energy Transfer and Transformation, our first 5 core knowledge science books that we'll be reading through this school year. Okay, so as I'm reading, you'll be able to see the text next to me. I'll try my best to highlight key words and let you see the words as I'm reading them out. I'll also ask us a few questions during the video that you want to be mindful of so that when you answer the Google Forms questions later, you'll be well prepared. So without further ado, this is our first core knowledge science book of the school year. It is Energy Transfer and Transformation. Turn that off. All right, as we scroll through, I'm sorry if this goes a little fast. I'm still new with this technology thing. Let's get us all the way here to chapter 1. Energy causes change. Before we get too far along, something I need to point out to you is right here at the start of each chapter. Let's make that a different color. We got this big question. That's our learning objective, what we need to be answering as scientists who are making observations through our reading, through you reading, through listening to Mr. Chambers read. We need to answer the big question for each chapter. So for chapter 1, energy causes change, our big question is, where can we observe, using our 5 senses, evidence, collect data of energy causing change? Where can we see energy causing change? Where can we hear energy causing change? Where can we smell or taste or touch energy causing change? That's our big question, what we want to focus on. And this will be a 2 to 3 sentence answer in your Google Forms that you have to answer after this video. So keep that big question in mind. Where do we observe evidence of energy causing change? Okay. Underneath our big question, let's do that in yellow, we have our vocabulary. By this point, hopefully Mr. Chambers has been smart enough to introduce us to the idea of having a vocabulary and things to know journal. One journal is our morning meditations that we write along with for our morning message. The other journal would be a composition, a collection of all the unique ideas, vocabulary, and new things we learn across all different subjects. We want this book handy just so that if, hey, we hear something new, we want to write it down. So whether you set it up where you've got 4 sections, math, English, social studies, science, or if each page you just want to write, today is science, and these are our vocabulary terms. These are our big questions. It's helpful, especially here in online learning, that you're writing pencil to paper before you start typing. That way you're better able to understand and explain yourself. I know, I've been over this. I just want to repeat that until we really build those strong habits of learning. So our vocabulary, as I was saying, we have 2 vocabulary terms that we need to know for this chapter before we get any further on, because they're big, new to us words, and words that we'll see quite a bit throughout this chapter. So, vocabulary. First one is change. That's in our objective, our big question. Change. Energy causes change. Where can we observe energy causing change? Well, change is a verb. You can change your clothes, you can change your mindset, you can change your weather. So change means to become different. When your subject becomes different, they do something different, they are changing. Okay? Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, but they are changing. Okay? So we want to think about change, to become different. All right? Energy. Energy is a noun. It's a person, place, or thing, or concept. Energy is more of a concept because we know it exists, but it's not very tangible. We can measure it, but we can't hold on to it. So energy, being a noun, is the ability to cause change. So you can't have change without energy, and you need energy to change something. It's the ability to cause change. I'm sure you, right now, here at your home watching this video, you have a lot of energy. You can cause a lot of change. Hopefully that change is for the better. As we dive in here, discover, use our curiosity to read through this chapter. Now I know, I'm 6 minutes in, and you're probably thinking, how long is Mr. Chambers going to talk today? Well, I'm going to read through the story right now. But as I'm reading, just be mindful of what I'm saying. I'll pause a few times, let you think and ruminate on some of these ideas that we share. Okay? Chapter 1. Energy causes change. You walk into a dark room. You flip a switch. What changes? The room changes from dark to light. You are holding a balloon in a quiet place. You stick a pen into the balloon. What changes? So if you've ever blown up a balloon, and then you stick a pen in it, what changes? Well, the shape of it changes. The balloon goes pop. The sound changes. It makes a loud explosion. The energy changes depending on how close that balloon was to your face. You can feel all that wind back in your face. That's energy, okay? So, as our textbook says, the silence in the room changes when you hear a loud sound pop. It's a great use of onomatopoeia, which is one of my favorite words. Onomatopoeia. Pop, kapow, boom. But I'm not talking about onomatopoeia. I'm talking about energy. Energy that is causing change. Okay? A toy car is sitting on top of a table. You give the car a push. What changes? When you push the car, what happens? The toy car changes from sitting still to moving. This highlighter's not working out the best for me. Let me try something else so you can see what I'm reading along, okay? Whenever there is a change, there is some form of energy causing that change. You can't have change without energy. Energy, as we said earlier, is the ability to cause change. Okay? The ability to cause change. Pardon my typing here. All right. So energy, the ability to cause change. Energy exists in many different forms. It causes different types of changes. Maybe the highlighter was better than that pen. All right. So different forms of energy. Different forms of energy. If I turn the pen off. Okay. So here in this picture right here, we have a water balloon. A balloon, instead of filling it up with air, was filled up with water. And that water balloon was pop. And then this is a slow motion picture of all those water droplets changing where they are. They move in all different spaces, okay? So that's a form of change caused by the energy of the pinprick. All right. Moving along now. Change is evidence of energy. Okay? Change is evidence of energy. Evidence, well, we saw that word earlier in our big question. So if I'm looking at my text or looking for text evidence, if I see keywords that I saw in that big question at the beginning, this might be a point where my mind's like, yes, I need to tune in and listen and read this section, okay? When you see changes in the world around you, you are seeing evidence or proof of energy. Look at the picture below. What changes do you think are happening? Okay, so let me show you this picture of this nice little beach. In this picture, what do you think's happening? What is changing? Okay, so in the picture on page 2, what changes do you see happening on the beach scene? That's the first question. In the beach scene on page 2, what changes do you see happening? Okay. As the wave crashes onto the shore, the water moves. That is one change. Imagine you are there on the seashore. You hear the sound of the water splashing against sand and rocks. The sound changes because of the movement of the water and the wind. Another change is the movement of the sand as it is pushed by the water. And there's a change happening that you can't see. The temperature of the sand is changing as it is warmed up by the bright sunlight or cooled by the water. All of these changes are caused by some form of energy. Okay? So, on the picture of the beach, what change do we see? What changes are happening in this image? All right. Moving on now to page 3. Energy occurs in different forms. There's different types of energy out in the world. So let's take a look at what some of those types of energy are, the different ways that we can cause change. Okay? Energy exists in many forms. For example, think of a carousel, a merry-go-round that you might see at a carnival or an amusement park. Well, there's motion, movement. It's moving. The carousel spins around. The horses move riders up and down, up and down. All these moving objects have energy of motion. Okay? Sound. As the carousel spins around, it's playing loud, cheerful music. The riders laugh and shout to friends. The carousel and the riders are producing sound, another form of energy. So we've got motion, sound, light. The bright bulbs on the carousel light up the ride. The bulbs give off the form of energy called light. Light is energy. Sound is energy. Motion is energy. It's everywhere. Okay? What happened? What happened? I'm terribly sorry for that mess up. I'm gonna cut my video so I can get right back to where we were. All right. Heat. If you're riding a carousel, don't touch the bright light bulbs. Why? Because they're probably very hot, unless they've been switched over to LEDs, but a lot of filament bulbs that get really hot. The bright bulbs not only produce light, but they also give off heat, which is another form of energy. I keep doing that. I'm sorry. All right. Last form of energy present. Here in our carousel is electrical energy. The carousel, its musical speakers, and its shining lights are all powered by another form of energy. If you look closely around the ride, you will find electrical cords connecting the carousel to a source of electrical energy. Electricity, heat, light, sound, motion. All of these are different types of energy, okay? I'm gonna take a break. There's something I need you to do. I need you to clap your hands 3 times. Now you've clapped your hands 3 times. What forms of energy can you observe? Use your 5 senses to understand when you clap your hands. What's happening there? What types of energy is being released when you clap your hands? Okay. Moving on now to page 4 of our reading. All right, page 4. Objects can store energy. When you see the waves crashing on a beach or watch a spinning carousel, you can see that changes are happening. The changes are evidence of energy. Evidence. But energy can also be present even when you don't see such evidence. Okay. When a rubber band is not stretched, it isn't causing any change. There is no evidence of energy. It's just a rubber band. It's just sitting there. I forgot to grab a rubber band, but here on my goggles, we have this. It's elastic. Right now, it's not doing anything. It doesn't have any potential to change. However, if I stretch it, well, now there's tension. There's potential energy. And if I release it, it snaps back. So, just because something doesn't have energy right now, it might have potential, okay? Because when you release that rubber band or the string on your safety glasses, it now has the ability to cause change if it is released or let go, okay? The stretched rubber band has stored energy. Well, stored energy, this is all written in blue. A blue term is one of our vocabulary terms. So here we have another vocabulary term, okay? So in your vocabulary journal here on the same page where we talked about change and energy, we want to write the phrase stored energy. Stored energy. And stored energy is another noun, and it is energy that has the ability to cause change at a later time. It's not going to change it. Stored energy. It is energy that has the ability to cause change at a later time. It's not going to happen right now, but sometime in the future, it could easily cause change. All right. So, the stretch rubber band, or the strap on my goggles, has stored energy. When the rubber band is released, it moves and makes a sound. Those changes are evidence that energy was stored in the stretched rubber band. Inside a battery are chemicals that store energy. When you put a battery in a flashlight or a toy, the stored chemical energy will be released and can cause a change. The energy can make the flashlight light up or the toy move. So batteries are a good storage unit for stored energy. Okay? But sometimes we put a battery in our favorite toy or a flashlight, and at some point we have to replace that battery. Think and ponder. Ask a question. And in the Google Forms for today's video, I'd like for you to think about, why do batteries run out of stored energy? Why do batteries run out of stored energy? Okay, so think about that. Should be getting close to the end. Here's a picture of a young scholar. He's got that rubber band. He's stretched it all the way back. What happens when he releases that? I think it's a question. All right. So, the stored energy of position. Batteries and stretchy materials can store energy because of the materials of which they are made. Any object also can have stored energy because of its position. So some things can have potential or stored energy based off where they are, their position. Imagine that you pick up an apple and hold it up above your head. I don't have an apple, but how about some Clorox wipes? I'm going to hold this above my head. Like a stretched rubber band, the apple, or the Clorox wipes, has the ability to change position. If you release the apple, it will fall. If I release this, it will fall. Like that. Okay? So when an apple hangs from a tree branch, or when you hold the apple above the ground, it has stored energy because of its position. The same is true if you hold up a ball, or a book, or a bucket, or Clorox wipes. Anything you hold up has stored energy based off of its position. Each object has the stored energy because it has the ability to cause a change once it starts moving. So thanks to gravity, anything that's high up, if it falls fast. It can cause the change, the motion of the object falling. Probably the sound when that object hits the floor. It can cause a lot of things just based off energy. It's stored because it's held up here, but then you drop it, and then that change occurs. Okay? All right. So, page 5, 6, I can't remember. Energy can move and change. Energy can change, but energy causes change. Oh. Look at the napping cat in the picture below. It's not very energetic, is he? But there is energy in the scene that you might not notice at first. The cat sleeps in a patch of sunlight. Light from the sun travels through space and transfers energy all the way to Earth. The sunlight pours through the screen door into the room where the cat is sleeping. The light enters the room, and when it hits an object, the energy of light is changed to the energy of heat. So the cat isn't moving, but energy that has moved across millions of miles is now in the room and warming the cat. In later lessons, we will learn more about how energy can move from one place to another and change from one form to another. Okay? So, take a look around your own personal learning space. Examine Observe. Use your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and hands to take a look at. And I want you to come up with a list of 5 things in the world around you that have stored energy or stored energy of position. What could potentially have energy around you? All right. And that does conclude chapter 1 of our first core knowledge textbook, Energy Transfer and Transformation. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to reading chapter 2 on Thursday and giving you your first STEM project on Friday. So stay tuned, and I'll catch you later.